Okay, so in the previous lesson we did a very simple traffic light that built off of the first lesson. And in this lesson we're going to take a look at the PWM signal. So that's a cool little thing the Arduino can do is not just give a high or low, but give a pulse width modulated signal. So if we look at the Arduino Uno, we see a little squiggly dash line here. So all the pins with this symbol are capable of performing PWM signal generation. So let's take pin 5, hook that up into an oscilloscope, and let's take a look at a pulse width modulated signal. I put the color blue on this. Let's wire this into ground. Let's go to our code segment. Pin mode 5 output. Alright, good. So we've initialized this. I'm actually going to delete the actually we can comment this out for now. Let's comment this out as well. And let's do analog, right? 5. And the argument is a number between 0 and 255. So let's do 124 arbitrarily. Let's take a look at this pulse width modulated signal. Okay, it's modulating pretty quickly. Okay, so this is what the signal looks like. If we set a different number, let's do 255. That's the full duty cycle. So the half of this number, which is 127, is going to give us a 50% duty cycle. And if we do 0 here, then that's a constant low. So you can also do 255 divided by 4. So that's if you want to find the duty cycle right off the bat. So that's by using the analog write command rather than the digital write command. So a cool thing about this is we can now hook this up to an LED actually, and we can use the pulse width modulated signal to fade in and fade out an LED. So in order to do that, I'm gonna have to incrementally and let's see what this looks like. Okay, it's happening so fast we're gonna have to introduce a little delay here. Okay, let's watch the light fade in and out slowly. Might even need a longer delay. Let's just define that up here. Let's use all capital letters. Okay. Let's do it a little bit slower. Let's do 300 then. Okay, nice. We get this pulsating LED that fades in and out slowly. We can clean this code up a little bit because it's a little redundant. So in order to do that, we're going to need a for loop. And our first statement is going to be, what do we call it? Brightness? Intensity? So let's just So the first thing our computer is going to do is going to declare a variable called intensity and set it equal to 0. Once it does that, what do we want to do? So we wanted it to control. We want to fade in and fade out. So at the start, we're setting the intensity to 0. It's going to run once. And then after that, we want to increase the intensity a little bit. So let's add a little bit of intensity. Let's do, so it's going to be up to 255. So we can do increments of 5. We can do increments of 10 if you want to go a little bit faster. And then we want the loop to stop once it reaches 255. Okay. So this is gonna fade up the light. We can try this, see what happens. Okay, cool. It just fades. Let's fade down the light. So let's do the same thing. Let's build a for loop. Because this variable, we might have to declare this again. So let's just do that. But this time we're fading down, so we're setting this to the highest. And so the first thing our computer is going to do when it gets here is it's going to set the intensity to maximum. Then we're flashing it, and then we're waiting a little bit. And then at the end of our loop, we want to decrease, we want to fade down. So we're going to set the intensity to decrement by 5. And then we're going to do this for as long as it's greater than 0. So this should fade in and fade out our light. Okay, cool. And we can actually tap into that signal and see what that kind of looks like in real time. So this is what's happening on this node. We're gradually increasing and decreasing the duty cycle over the course of a time period, which is gonna create the effect of the LED fading in and out. And you see at the maximum here, the light is at its maximum, and it's gonna fade. And here the light is turned off basically, and then fades back on. So yeah, that's the cool feature of pulse width modulation. And it's pretty simple using Arduino. Basically just a line of code, and then you give the argument 0 up to 2 and 155.